she interviewed me. She asked me a few questions about, hey, do you ever get concerned about how you're going to pay for all of this? And, does life ever get tight around your household? And I told her, yes, absolutely, because I live in the world. I also expressed to her at that point that, I really am interested in the mental health services that you offer through this program, because I think that that's something that I need. I think that I need help with managing my stress. I need help with managing how I meet the problems of life, because see, the thing is, this is something that I had to learn through working with my provider. Problems just happen. It doesn't matter how rich you are, how good you've been, how many Hail Marys you say, how many rabbit's feet you put in your pocket. It doesn't matter how many four-leaf clovers you find. It doesn't matter. The problems, they just exist, and they will hit any one of us at any time. And I think part of the success of life is knowing how to navigate those things. When you're under pressure, when things don't go the way that you wanted them to, when you get let down severely by people who you trusted or you thought were going to come through for you. When these things pop up, knowing how to cope with those circumstances, that was something I was not very good at. And I know that that was part of the reason why I experienced postpartum depression after I had my first child. As a new mom, you got this new baby that they just let you leave the hospital with. Nobody asks you. Nobody even checks your car. They just let you go with that baby, and you just have to figure it out. And so, excuse me, I experienced a lot of I experienced a lot of anxiety and stress. Something else that I'll mention too is that I'm originally from Southern California. So at this time of having my first child, I was living in Southern California with my husband, who is a chef who works lots of nights and weekends, and no family nearby because my parents had relocated here to Florida about 6 years earlier. So I didn't really have a strong support system, in addition to the fact that I had this new crying baby that I didn't know what to do with, and everything just kind of came tumbling in on me, and I knew that I didn't want that to happen again. So getting involved with Healthy Families was very, very helpful. My family support worker is Miss Freddie. I don't know if you've heard or not, but I've been telling everybody since the news broke. Miss Freddie is Family Support Worker of the Year. She's not here, but we're gonna have a round of applause anyway. And I'm really grateful that I have been under the care of the Family Support Worker of the Year, because as you can probably tell by that title, she does her job very well. She checks up on me. She makes sure that I am managing my stress levels in a way that is conducive to healthy parenting, and that I'm going easier on myself. Aren't we always our harshest critic to ourselves? I mean, the things that other people can say to and about us, they're hurtful, definitely. But the things that we say to and about ourselves, those are some of the worst, nastiest, ugliest things, or at least I know that's the case with me. But working with Miss Freddie has taught me not to be so hard on myself, as a parent especially. Everybody's learning this. I mean, this is my first time around with 2 kids. I've never done this before. So I have to take it all in stride and learn that life is not necessarily happening to us, it is happening for us. And a lot of those skills have come from the work that I've been able to do with Miss Freddie. In addition to working with Miss Freddie, I also have a licensed mental health support worker, Miss Anna. Miss Anna doesn't have any fancy titles yet, but I'm just going to call her my saving grace, my guardian angel, because since the day that she came into my life and started teaching me some of these tools and these methods for mental health relief, for self-care and for self-love, and going a little bit easier on myself, slowing things down, taking things one step at a time, one day at a time, because life can become really overwhelming at times, and you have to learn how to hit pause and slow those things down. It's been very empowering. I know that there are mental health services and mental health support systems that are available all over the place. There are therapists that you can go to, there are apps that you can get on your phone that you can talk to people in real time. You can be sent affirmations and motivational quotes. I mean, there are tools that exist, but definitely the best tools that I have ever encountered in my fight against anxiety and depression, some of those best tools have come through the Healthy Families program. Having somebody who comes to my home to meet with me to discuss how it is that I'm feeling, how's anxiety going for you today? I know that you have a big interview that's coming up, I'm a business owner now too, so in working with my business and working on marketing and pitching new concepts and creating new ideas and products, that kind of stuff can be really daunting. Especially if it's something that you haven't ever done before. And some of the greatest support that I've gotten in those endeavors have come from the mental health support tools that I've gotten from Healthy Families. And if you would have told me 6 years ago when I was battling postpartum depression with my daughter, that some of the best tools that you're gonna get for this whole thing that you're going through right now, those are gonna come from an agency that is state funded, it's gonna come from a Healthy Families type of a place, I wouldn't have believed you. Because I didn't know the wealth of what's offered here. I think a lot of people look at a program like this one that you work for, and they see it for the benefits for most of the people who typically would fall into a category of someone who needs services, somebody who has had their income interrupted, somebody who maybe has income but it's just not enough, someone who needs additional support to take care of their children, to find a job, to get transportation, to go back to school, to get a job, to learn interviewing skills, getting fresh clothes that they can wear to work, to job interviews, having diapers and formula and other supplies that they need for their babies. Those are the kinds of things that most people think of, and those kinds of resources are absolutely fantastic. We need to keep providing those to people. But outside of those areas, in terms of providing positive support, examples, and tools that can reinforce good parenting habits for the families of your community, providing the mental health support that a lot of people are not receiving in their everyday lives, the things that they don't even know that they need support on, or that no one has really acknowledged that we need support on. Those are the kinds of things that I've gotten from this program, and I personally find that to be very powerful. I've been humbled as well as awakened by all of the amazing, powerful success strategies that I have earned through working with my social worker and my mental health support worker through Healthy Families. I'm sorry, I just need to look up, there was a quote that I found last night that I want to recite to you, and I want to make sure that I get it right, and so I saved it here on my phone so that I could, so I brought this up here to keep time and also to, me, just always thinking. So one thing that I wanted to speak to you about is I want to encourage you to think big. Think big about the effect that your service has on the community that you deliver it in. Smarter, healthier families create and live in safer, cleaner, and healthier neighborhoods. And that's supported by evidence. I don't have it with me right now because I didn't bring my computer because I'd taken some time off. I recently was doing some copywriting work for an organization out in Texas, and I was looking up some statistics on what healthier communities look like and what their demographics look like. And there is a positive correlation between healthier communities and people who have received a college education. So this is associate's, bachelor's degree, master's degree, and PhD. I mean, the higher up you go, then the higher the correlation is between the health of the community. These are also people who engage in healthier habits, and they engage in giving back to their communities as well. I found all of this information listed there statistically. I think the year was 2017 that this was published, but it's right there in print. And I'm sure that this agency who published this work is not the only one who has done so. It's been proven that there's a link between how healthy your community will be if you empower it and you give it the resources to become better. And then also, I mentioned to you that I'm from California, and I'm also kind of a fan of the Kennedys. I mean, you could say I find them to be noble, the Kennedy family. And the reason I mentioned California is because Maria Shriver was our first lady out in California when Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor, and I love her. And her mother was Eunice Kennedy Shriver, who founded the Special Olympics, and I love her for that too. But I found a quote by Caroline Kennedy. So she is the daughter of President John F. Kennedy. And she stated once, "I feel that my father's greatest legacy was the people he inspired to get involved with public service and their communities, to join the Peace Corps, to go into space." And really, that generation transformed this country in civil rights, social justice, the economy, and everything. At a time like this, in a world like what we have right now, I think we want people to feel inspired. Yes. I think we want young people to feel inspired. These events and these developments that Caroline mentions that took place under her father's influence, they came at a time when the country needed it. I think that a lot of you, just based on the applause that you just gave me, the facial expressions that I'm seeing, I think a lot of you would agree that we're probably at a place right now where we need to make some change in this country. We need to start making some course corrections and turning some things around, because things are moving in a direction that I don't think that, did we all want that? No. All this violence? People dying in vain? Probably not, and I'll get off of my soapbox at this point, but you get the point. At a time like this, I think we want people to be inspired, especially young people. They are our future. So if we are giving parents and families the tools to raise smarter, more empowered children, that is a positive effect for our community. That is long-term change. And that is what you have the power to do as you reconsider how you look at this program and what it offers. And my story is proof of that. I'm not somebody who you would have typically seen come into a program like this, not typically, but I am someone who has received a ton of benefit from this program, and I'm trying my best to turn that benefit around and give it back to the community. Okay, all right, thank you. So I just wanted to leave you on that note. I thank you so much for your time. Again, I thank you so much for this invitation to come here today. And I thank you so much for the work that you are doing for the communities that you belong to, the families that you are touching, and the lives that you are helping. I thank you so much for that.